Okay, we're live here on YouTube. Let's go. Okay, here we are. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. So happy Saturday. And let me know where you're joining from and what's happening in your now moment, what's present. All right. Hello, YouTube, Instagram. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to start by introducing myself. And also a little disclaimer, I'm going to be looking at both screens because I'm online in two screens, both my YouTube and my Instagram. So hold on one second. All right. So welcome, everybody. Thank you. Go ahead and continue typing down where you're joining from, how you're feeling today, what's present, what is present, like just check the topic up there and notice if anything coming up. And let's make it a interactive live broadcast. My name is Satya Lights. I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I am a trauma-informed somatic embodiment mentor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a writer, poet, many things. Medicine woman, and a mirror, a friend to you right now. So welcome. So much love and gratitude. I say, let's go. So I'll tell from the beginning, this is like a really big edge for me to talk about money. Like in my entire career on this like online presence, it's probably the first time I'm talking about money. I talked about abundance, but abundance does not mean money, although it includes. So today is a big day for Satya. So I'll give you a little background. I have only worked for other companies before my professional life, like when I was still going to school and having part-time jobs to support pay my school and my education, which I did. I took myself to a grad school. I paid for my MBA degree on my own. So like I had part-time jobs, and that was the time that I worked for other people. And then after I finished my MBA, my grad school, I got hired from a company and I worked for that company only 9 months. So rest of my entire life, which is right now, I started working and doing part-time jobs when I was 18, I think, like maybe 17. So almost 20 years of working and making money and taking care of myself. So that's the background. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business background. I ran a very successful business, multiple six-figure on my own. It could have grown, but we're going to talk about why it didn't, why I couldn't grow it past that limit. And we're going to talk into that. The invite, I'll tell it from the beginning, the invite for today's live broadcast will be you guys coming into the portal. So because right after this live broadcast, we're going to be doing the practices that I'm actually I'm going to be speaking into the stuff, and then we're going to do the actual practice. It's going to be an hour and a half workshop and an activation. So it's not a, so Before I go into the actual topic, one more announcement. So, someone's sending me a request to be in the live. So, first of all, this is not a live broadcast that I invite people in and, like have a conversation. So, I'm not going to accept. So, and it just, like comes out and creates this like thing. And, I kindly ask you to cancel that request and don't take it personal because this is not a live broadcast that we do this kind of like back and forth. But if you have any questions, comment. And I do have a team member here also. If I miss like to answer it in this moment, we do go back and look at the topics and the questions, and then I try to respond in best of my ability. Okay. So, you know, we always talk about in this space, like in my space, the nervous system capacity and the belief systems, and I share about the subconscious mind from a perspective of like a hypnotherapist and a practitioner of energy medicine and all that. And when I say, belief systems, and like our subconscious mind is actually our body, right? So anything that we have in our subconscious mind also lives in the body. And for those of you who already know this, it's great. Like it's all about the repetition. And you know what? Like let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to the basics. And depending on who you're studying with, let's look at the mind. The 5 to 8% of the mind that, like the mind that you're conscious, the conscious mind, the prefrontal cortex, that you're thinking, you have the willpower, you're analyzing things, you're judging things, right? Like you're aware. Your awareness is only 5 to 8%, and the rest is your subconscious mind. It's 95 to 92%. So who do you think, which part of your mind do you think running the show? Doesn't matter which area of your life. Doesn't matter which area of your life. Yeah, today specifically, we're talking into money. Because let's face it, it's a that's the reason that I have never talked about money. First of all, I wasn't a money coach. And like it is also a very emotional, like kind of topic for me, right? And it's a very emotional topic for a lot of, like, majority of humankind, right? So also our belief systems create our reality, what we believe we are. So the invite here is, what are you experiencing with your money in this moment? Are you happy? And just comment. So let's make it like a back and forth. Or are you experiencing the lackness of the money or abundance of the money? And maybe you're in a new growth edge. I mentioned, like in my own business, I was creating multiple six figures on my own. And there was like a capacity, the edge, that I believed that I could do more of that. And that was my capacity. So I couldn't go past that. I couldn't go past that. Because why? Because first of all, like I didn't, like right now, like I'm extracting all the wisdom from my own entire life and my own entrepreneurship journey. Because like now I'm like, oh, this is how I could have actually grown the business. And one thing that even if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, a creator, or a business owner, whatever you are, or just like working for someone but have like side hustles. Doesn't matter how you're creating money, the way that you create money and how your relationship to money is living in your body. And our bodies are actually telling us. So this, I don't know if this is stuck, but someone's constantly sending me a request. I'm gonna hold on. So chiropractor Dubai, um thank you so much for your request, but can you please cancel your request? It's really, just I'm working with a lot of energies, a lot to cover here. So I want to be really like focused because I also have a beautiful 2-hour workshop happening after this. So, all right. So, nervous system capacity is the edge of it's okay. Like yeah, like I just wanted to let you know. Nervous system capacity is the edge of what we believe it is possible. It's like the ceiling, the glass ceiling that we create. And how do we build our belief systems, right? So I always say from the last trimester of the pregnancy that we were in the womb, it starts building. We start like, that sponge starts happening until 7 years old, 8 years old, depending on who you're studying with again. And in those moments, especially from 0 to 2, like it's like they're sleeping. The babies are in the delta brainwave state. They're asleep, like they're in between two worlds. They don't know, like they're still like they still have access to their angels and the spirit beings. Like they speak to the, like the space and like delta, theta, alpha. Like these are the states that like we are very receptive. And until we come to the 7 years old, like we are this receptive beings, and everything that's happening in our environment is affecting our belief system. And whatever it is that we are experiencing within the family system, in this case, let's speak into money, whatever their money relationship is or the money conversation is, those are our first information. Those are the first information that we receive about money, even before we understood what money is, even before we had the money concept, the exchange, the currency, the energy. Before we even understood that, we started receiving the programming. It's your subconscious mind. Your mind is a supercomputer, and your software is really determining what we're experiencing. So that is why, when whatever it is that we're experiencing in our reality, it is important to, okay, like how can it be related to my belief systems? And trust me, there's so many layers to this, so many layers to this, so many layers to this. I have been working and studying subconscious mind like since 2000. Actually, I started studying NLP when I was 17. And with my power of my mind, I started like creating this experiences. I took myself and moved myself across like countries. Yet we are only operating with what we are aware of within the moment. And like going back to my experience as a business owner, I did create multiple six figures on my own, yet there was an edge. There was like this capacity limit. After this, it's not safe, right? And trust me, I worked with a lot of like mindset stuff and like a lot of somatic stuff. I did a lot of I have been in my own personal healing journey like consciously for 20 years now. So yet right here I am, the reason that I'm speaking into this, I am being invited to my next level, and I am going and seeing how, like, there are so many insidious, little tiny, tiny programming still running the show, still running the show. Even though it may look like there's freedom, like there's this like glass ceiling on top of the freedom. And how do I move past that, break those ceilings? And that's my exploration for my life in this moment. And here I am telling you, everything that you believe about money lives in your body. And until you really address your body and what your body is telling you and how your limitations are working with you, are you fighting for your limitations? Sometimes, like, like, watch yourself, like, wait, what do I mean by fighting for your limitations? Oh, I'm not that kind of person, like, so really, we are moving with an identity, which I'm going to come back to, which, like, I love making the joke of Tony Robbins one-on-one checking in, like, the identity is the most important. We do everything to keep the identity we're identifying with. So within this process of shifting and changing and renovating and changing our belief systems and opening the capacity and healing and releasing the trauma, releasing the limitations, and really remembering who we are, there is a lot of death to who we think we are. And sometimes this death is actually really challenging, even though the calling is calling us forward for expansion. The leaving all the old identities where they keep us really, like, small, is leaving those, like, what we're identifying with is also very painful. So um I want to, if you've been in my field for a little bit, you already know that I love, like, really going in, like, the definitions of the words. So I want to actually share the definition of neuroplasticity, because if whatever it, like, however we change, however we be, it's like actually due to neuroplasticity. So if you can actually, if I'm telling you that you can change, because I know you can change, because you are also plastic, your mind is plastic, it shifts and changes. So neuroplasticity definition: the ability of the brain to form and reorganize synaptic connections, especially in response to learning or following an injury. So healing, right? Like, healing or learning. When we're learning, we're creating all this, like, new synaptic connections. And then you can actually go Google how you're building the like the synaptic connections. It's like so fascinating. There's a whole geometry happening in there. And what we know, the programming has this, like, path, right? Like the path, like you automatically do. And then there's the new things when you're learning. That's why sometimes, you know, you're learning a way of being, but it becomes easier to go back to who, like, to your known reality, known thoughts. Or even though you are consciously wanting to change, sometimes, like, something hits, something triggers you, and like, just automatically say, something your past version would say, so due to neuroplasticity, thanks to neuroplasticity, we can change, and we can change our relationship with money. And I was listening to a master class yesterday. um it's saying, like, what is our belief systems? So, like, this person who I was listening to, which is like a like a billionaire, this person, amazing businessman, like, if you have, like, forget about how you have been programmed. If you have watched, like, in the past 40 years, any Hollywood movies, like there is this villain, and the villain is always rich. So there is a deep programming, deep programming of, if a person is rich, they are bad, right? So what, as humans, we want to be good people. We want to be good people, so we can't be rich, right? Like that's the, so, when you're watching a movie, and when those movies like giving you, or whatever it is, when you're watching a movie, you are hypnotized, first of all. So it is like highly programming you, because there's the, like, all, it includes all the senses. So you got to be really careful. You got to be really present. If they're programming you a certain belief, you got to repeat to yourself, no, I'm not buying into this. I'm watching it, but I'm not buying into this. This is my belief system. I can be, like, abundant, wealthy, and, like a really good person. And that is why I think I'm being really called to, by my own, like, trajectory. There gets to be a new way of experiencing wealth and money. There gets to be a new way of relating to money that is really moving us to the new earth, like like frequencies that we're walking in. That healing. When we say holistic healing, this does include also us being holistically healing any relationship, and money is also a part of this relationship, really understanding this relationship, which is very deep, and which goes, like, as always, like, goes very deep with our ancestry. There's a Turkish dog, grandfather dog. He is protecting us. So, talking about ancestors, Turkish grandfather. Oh my God, what a life. Anyway, um, so yeah, this goes really deep, and we get to have this conversation, and we get to really address a whole new way of being and relating to also money. If you're healing, if you're really like anchoring in whole new ways of being, the whole new ways of being, we got to create a whole new relationship to money also. Does it make sense? Because we are really deeply programmed to be disempowered, to not use our sovereignty, forget our sovereignty, forget our empowerment, right? So, like, your baseline beliefs are, if your baseline beliefs are like deeply rooted in the lowest shadowy frequencies in the victim consciousness, which, um, lack, and everything that is the lower frequential octave, we are disempowered. And when we are, let me see this song. So, and when we are operating from that, we don't really have our power. Especially think about, like, if you're not making like what money brings to you, what is it? It brings certain level of freedom, right? And majority of us, like majority of the world, is operating from that place. So what does it do? It leaves us powerless. It leaves us in this, like, whatever, the ceiling or the cage, or like the chains of the past and ancestral stories. We're locked into that. And this does make certain beings in the world and beyond very happy. So how do we learn really remembering our sovereignty, our inherent abundance, and cultivate a whole new relationship with money, which can create, like, that's a resource, right? Like, that's a resource. Let me see where this dog is. Griffey! Well, welcome to this life of Satya. Anyway, so cultivate a whole new relationship with money. That is part of our healing process. That is part of our remembrance process. And this doesn't mean that, like whatever, like maybe you're comfortable. But if you're not comfortable, are you comfortable enough to dream of more? Are you comfortable enough to look also at your actual programming? That is very important. And this whole thing is not only the mindset, unfortunately. There gets to be this holistic, like approach, to the entire healing process and embodiment process and remembering process, and it's layer, 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 layer. And for some it's also like, it takes you to your survival stress, like it takes you like beyond your window of tolerance, and then you're stuck. And then when you're beyond your window of tolerance, you're moving with the thought patterns that are um keeping you like in this like survival, negative thoughts happening, and then the fear, and then like you keep like repeating that cycle. The same programming repeats itself inside of you. So there gets to be very different levels of, like, first of all, you got to first really understand your nervous system. Where are you moving out of your capacity, the window of tolerance, especially when you're dealing with your money? Like, so I have, like, I'm going to read your comments towards the end, just but if you have questions and comments, please drop them there. So I literally had to cultivate a whole new practice, presence practice, before I even open my bank account. Like I have, that I'm talking about, like the past. Like I created multiple six figures of business on my own, and I couldn't grow past. And now, like, I'm actually looking back in retrospect. Oh wow, this is why I couldn't actually grow it like past that capacity, because I didn't have the capacity to hold that much money. I didn't. And how do I cultivate even more capacity? And what are you going to do with that money? That's also part of the, like the process that we're going to be going in. People, when we're talking about, I want financial abundance, like, why do you want it? Like there is a level of um levels of creation that is happening, and you're creating, constantly creating. But do you even believe what you're asking? Do you even believe that you're going to be receiving? These are the levels that, like, we are not really aware of. Oh yeah, like I really, really do want to make this much money. Do you even believe? Like, are you checking in? Like, are you even in your body when you're asking that to your universe? So that gets to actually lock in. Like, as that's like what I'm talking about when I speak about nervous system capacity. Can you even talk about that amount, whatever it is amount that you're doing? We're going to be doing this practice in the portal. For those of you who are interested, you can join for only $27. We're going to be doing that practice today. And if you're not interested in becoming a member moving forward, you can leave. This is just a test drive, and you can really receive this healing. Anyway, back to, so when you're actually claiming something with your conscious mind is the seeder. It seeds the actual soil. But how is the soil? If you're not really cleaning the soil, if it's like filled with like toxins and all that stuff, do you think your beautiful, beautiful seeds are going to grow in that soil? No. So we got to really clean the foundations, and this is an ongoing journey, really really learning ourselves. And sometimes when I do regression on myself and on my clients, like, oh wow, I had no idea I had that experience. I had no idea that I had, like, I held that belief system. So that is the work, the excavation, the alignment, and really being aware, like having an energetic container. Oh yeah, I want $1 million, like this and this house and this car and this da, 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 da. Like, do you even have space in your field to hold those energies? Like like this, everything is energy. If your receiving container is this big, do you think it would fit a house? No. The container gets to expand also. So this is the work that we get to do. This, like if your capacity to like is this big, you got to expand that capacity to hold the energetics. And this is the same thing with the life force energy. However, like the healing that we do within the energetic systems in the nervous system. So you hold a certain level of vibrancy. And the rest, if you're frozen, and then there's this films around your eyes, and then you're hyper vigilant, you're not even home, you're constantly running, and you're not getting anything done while you're even like so tired, your adrenal glands are like exhausted, but like you're doing all these things, but like your life is just in shambles. Why? Because like there's no capacity, no presence, right? That is the healing, the open space, so that more life can actually start living inside of us and we're present with it. Ultimately, I am teaching presence. And when we have capacity, anything is possible. Yes, even when we have capacity, if there are limiting beliefs that are like keeping you in a certain belief system, yes, you got to also address them. That's why, like my approach is amazing. I am approaching your nervous system. I am approaching your subconscious mind and belief systems, and I am approaching your energetic body. I love this work. I think I'm most passionate about this work. Like more than healing trauma and going into the gunk of it. Really, like I feel that energy inside of me. I think like I am so passionate for people to become alive and actually receive whatever it is, health, wealth, relationships, partners, whatever it is, because you can have it all. Like if you actually have the capacity in your nervous system. That's my passion. Here we are. Who knew I found my passion on Instagram Live? Anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up, my loves. Before I wrap it up, I'm going to look at the comments, and then I'm going to share 5 steps for this for you, just to have a context for this work for yourself. And I'm going to go and do a whole deep work in the portal. And because I love this game. Okay, someone says I have huge money issues, And I'll tell you, like one of the things, money is your sacral. Money is your sacral chakra, and your sex, your creative energy, like everything, your sexual energy, everything is there. So guess what happens? Like, like money is connected to that creative center of your sacral. And when that happens, everything opens. And there are different practices of, I'm afraid to receive money even for my art. I mean, that's like very common, right? Like that's very common. Artists, like, first of all, there's a whole like struggling artist mindset that needs to vanish. That whole struggling artist, like, where is the thriving artist? You're doing God's work. You're channeling God, like through your art, through your words, through your colors, through your song. And what? Of course, you got to be abundantly paid for it, but you also need to believe that. Yeah. And also there's another thing I want to say before. Abundance, first time since forever in my life. Amazing. Abundance is everywhere. Everything is abundant. Life is abundant. Look at Mother Earth, like constantly abundantly giving us. Abundance is our, like, who we are. We are abundance itself. Yet what are we actually programmed to see? Like human mind is programmed to see the negative, programmed to see the lack. That is your responsibility to shift that whole, perspective. You, yes, you. All right. I see YouTube questions. I'll be right there. I hold a deep belief system that money is the root of all evil. That gets to change. I am not like my family members. They project their lack onto me. In boundaries, I feel the fear of receiving money even for a piece of my art. And first of all, it's so rooted of also in the toxic patriarchy, being close to be receiving as a woman, also as an artist, as a woman. Yes. And when we're close to receiving, in general. Receiving channel is closed, right? So there gets to be an opening. Oh my God, I want to make a course for this. Because you know what? Like, this is something that I have been teaching myself. I absolutely love your thanks. Thank you so much. Deficit. I wonder, Elif, if you're here, what do you mean? Because I don't get the context, my love. Thank you. So someone actually on YouTube, hello YouTube. Someone says richness is beyond money, which is true. Rich and abundance, like we said, right? Like, it is beyond actual money. You can have so much money and still be so poor. Yeah. And we see that everywhere in this world. That's why I want to change that. I want to change that for myself, for my children, to see a whole new, different experience. Of like generosity of spirit, not only around money, but around everything. Yeah. So thank you so much, Johan, for bringing that into the space, brother. All right, my loves. So how do we address our nervous system and money? How do we address the capacity? So how do I connect? So I'll teach you some somatic practices here now. So first of all, awareness. Awareness is so important. So awareness of what is happening in your body when you like even talk about a certain amount or talk about a dream. What is happening energetically in your body? If you start learning the cues, the energetic contractions and expansions that are happening in your body, you're going to know. Your body is constantly speaking with you if you know how to listen, right? So really sharing, like checking in, like if you don't know what you believe, I highly recommend, it's free, a journal and a pen. Like, it's a free practice. You don't have to pay anybody. You just sit and spend time in your own life force energy, right? You journal. What do you believe? And what do you want to believe instead, right? And then when you actually really even speak into what you want to believe, notice how your body responds. So, like when there's contraction in your body is not believing you. And you're saying all this like epic, abundant, like, things. It's not gonna like there gets to be a certain level of congruency. And that congruency is the anchored in new belief system, right? Which we're going to be doing in the portal today. So, really talking to your body, you heard it right. And then really asking, by keeping your certain belief systems, what are you gaining? I'll give you an like example that we have just spoken. Money is root of all evil, and you want to be a really nice, beautiful, graceful person, and you don't want to identify yourself with evil, right? So you are actually, in this case, what you're gaining is you're being great, graceful, like a nice, integrous person. You're not evil. You're a good one. That's what you're gaining by keeping that belief. But is that true? Is that really true? Like Byron Katie's work, right? The work. Is that really true? Can I 100% like believe, like, and say and make sure this is true? If the answer is no, that means you can change that motherfucking belief. Yeah. So, and then, what are you gaining? What are you gaining? You may be controlling something, right? You may be like comfort, like you may be in a certain level of comfort with that. So one of mine, which I'm going to share, like if I generate this amount of money, that means that I'm going to work so much, which is wrong. So I don't want to lose my freedom, because my highest value that I value in life is freedom of time and spaciousness, and like working less. But like if I were to make more money, I have to work more, and I'm going to lose my freedom, which is wrong, right? Especially in this day and age. So, or are you getting acceptance by your family, friends? And some people, oh, like if I, actually create this much abundance, this much money, this much wealth in my life and change, I'm not going to be resonating with people anymore. They are going to be, like I'm going to be parting. They're going to be judging, so you want to belong. Like that's our ultimate, like we want to belong to community, to a tribe, right? Like to your family. So you're keeping yourself like like where you are, so the growth won't happen because you want to continue to be accepted, right? All these things. Anyway, what gets to change, we talked about it. Your identity gets to change around this, but like this is a whole like body of work that I'm talking about, right? Body of work that you get to work with your body. So you get to change your identity around all of it. See, like what is, and then really define what is a whole new relationship, creating a whole new relationship, because ultimately money is energy. It's a resource and it circulates. And what is your attachment style to money? Are you a hoarder? Are you anxiously attached? That whole, like there's a whole body of work around this that we can do. Today, I'm going to be addressing a little bit of it. We're going to do some belief system renovation in the portal. If you're really interested, I highly recommend joining us. This is one of my favorite things to do. Let me see. Sorry. And yeah, that's the work that we're going to do in the portal today, literally in 15 minutes. So I'm going to go. And if you want to address holistically your nervous system and your entire healing process to hold more life, therefore more money, it's still related. Bureau medicine is Right now, like 40% discounted until end of May. It's a self-study course, trauma-informed, really amazing tools for you to know yourself, know your nervous system, know your shadows, and integrate, holistically integrate to become the, most aligned, authentic version of you beyond the layers and the masks of the trauma, right? So that's the ultimately like what I'm teaching. Um, and what else? If you're interested in doing one-on-one work with me, I am working with entrepreneurs, creators, solopreneurs, and like doing a whole visionary and purpose work. And then I do a whole mirrorship and healing and capacity raising work. There are two different body of work. They can be intertwined. I work with a lot of people doing both of them simultaneously. So if you're interested in choosing me as your mirror, divine mirror in this work, that would be my greatest honor. Just go ahead and apply. Everything is in the links. And sending you so much love, blessings, and I hope we get to create a whole new level of baseline understanding about our sovereignty, our power, personal power, therefore, our relationship to one another, our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to God and everything around, our relationship to money, our relationship to business, our relationship to creating anything in life. That's my prayer for today. I hope we get to actually do that. And that happens by you, me doing our work on an individual level. Bless, bless, bless. I love you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow, Sunday. Let's have a Sunday coffee, which I don't drink coffee, but I'll see you tomorrow. Bless. Ooh, ooh.